It is July and the peak buying season is officially over here in Phoenix, Arizona and the metropolitan area. And while both supply and demand kicked off with a bang in the first quarter of 2025, the second quarter was very slow due to increased mortgage rates and market uncertainty. By the end of April, we had 30,000 listings for sale in the MLS. That's 6 times more houses for sale than we've had in 2021. We had less than 5,000 homes for sale in the spring of 2021, and it was mayhem. Obviously, a lot of those homes didn't sell because the listings expired or they got canceled. And by the end of May, many sellers gave up and took them off the market indefinitely. I talked about that on my last market update. So that's why I say this market is only for serious sellers. If you're not serious, meaning you don't have to sell, then don't. Cancel listings were up 46% and expired listings were up 79% in the last month. Also, the rate of new listings slowed down, and all these factors combined resulted in a 10% drop in the overall supply. So now we are sitting at around 27,000 listings in the MLS. While all price ranges are seeing an impact, the largest percentage inventory drop was for homes over $800,000 with a 15% decline compared to homes under $800,000 are just a 5% decline. The luxury market always slows down in the summer, but not necessarily because there's less sales, but in the sense that most luxury homeowners don't list their homes in the summer on purpose, and they hold off for the fall and winter. For example, Paradise Valley dropped 39% in active supply over the past 6 months, but contracts in escrow only dropped 5%. Ironically, this pushed Paradise Valley out of a balanced market into a seller's market and the third strongest seller's market they've ever had. The opposite of what most people expect during the heat of the Phoenix summer. So the luxury market is doing well. As prices continue to drift down in this buyer's market, contract activity is expected to improve compared to last summer, so we will see about that. According to the recorded sales of the last 30 days, 56% of the sales that closed, the seller contributed an average of $10,000 to the buyer's closing costs, with the final closing at 97% of the list price. Meaning, selling at 97% of your asking price and contributing $10,000 in closing costs to the buyer is very normal in this market. And that doesn't include any repairs or credits or paying their agent's compensation. And this is happening especially in the under $600,000 price point. In the higher end homes, buyers don't ask for closing cost assistance or repairs or agent compensation. They go straight to the price and negotiate that. Sales volume is about the same compared to a year ago, July of 2024, but supply is up 41%. So yeah, it feels like a weaker market compared to a year ago because it is. It is a more sluggish market where the seller is at a disadvantage in most areas and price points, unfortunately. And most likely this trend will continue a little longer. The median time on the market prior to an accepted contract is 44 days. Unless you're selling a condo or a townhome, then it's 65 days if the price is right. Condos and townhomes are hurting the most right now. If you bought a house after the fall of 2022 and you want to sell, you will struggle unless you put a lot of money down when you bought it. If you just did the minimum down payment, you have no equity right now and you will sell at a loss. Some sellers are in that predicament right now. So that's why I said, and I'll say it again, this market is for serious sellers only. We've had decent market appreciation every year, but it's very modest and it's not enough to cover your selling fees and the margin that you need to give the buyer either a price reduction or concessions that they will most likely ask for. For example, single-family homes between $300,000 and $400,000 are negotiating between 99% of the list price, but closings of condos and townhomes in the same price range are within 97% of list price. That can be a difference of between $5,000 and $9,000 in price negotiations because there are fewer large negotiating items in a condo compared to a single-family home. Single-family homes in the higher price ranges over $1 million are seeing negotiations between 95 and 96% of list. Large negotiating gaps don't necessarily mean sales prices are declining, and small gaps don't mean that prices are rising. Sellers will always list high to get the most out of the sale. And sometimes this strategy works out and sometimes it doesn't. It really depends in the house. The gap between the original list price and the final sales price, which can involve both price reductions and negotiations, is simply a difference between a seller's expectation of price, and what the market is willing to bear. Buyers markets won't grant sellers their price wishes most of the time. And that's the state of the market right now for the month of July of 2025 in Phoenix, Arizona. If you think this information was helpful or not, let me know either way with a comment below. Thank you for watching, and until next time.